Capcom put out another one of those stupid blue slides today, and this time it's not a pro player just saying a slur. It's actually something that's probably going to concern you. It's a change to the CPT rules in relation to leverless controllers. There's a bunch of garbage in this post, but this is the part that you really care about. It says, with this in mind, we've decided to make the following changes. If up and down directions are input at the same time, both inputs must be maintained, or both inputs must be rejected. To clarify, if up and down inputs are made simultaneously, the character must not perform a jump or crouch action. And if left and right inputs are made simultaneously, the character must not perform a forward or backward movement action. If you're like me, you woke up at 6 p.m. and you read that while you were half asleep, and you said, yeah, that's just SOCD cleaning. I don't get it. What's the big deal? And then you sat down at your PC and you said, let me just try it. Like, let me just open the game and do up and down and make sure that I'm all right. And the reality of the situation quickly sets in. You see, as specified in the rules, holding left and right should equal neutral. And that is true on the Hitbox controller. But if you hold down and up will win. That makes the Hitbox Arcade controller illegal, and most other controllers, like the Junk Food Arcades ones, also illegal. So immediately my first instinct is to go on the developer of these controllers, like Twitter accounts, Hitbox Arcade and Junk Foods Arcade, and see what they're saying, because I know how I could fix this, right? I could get a Brooks board, I could do all this stuff, rewire it, reprogram some stuff, and it'll probably work. There will probably be a fix for this through a Brooks board of some sort. But what about a normal consumer? Like, what about somebody who spent $200-300 on a controller that is now illegal in their eyes? That is now illegal in the eyes of Capcom. So here's the Junk Food Arcade's response. Cool. People play multiple games, each with different SOCD rules. We will allow you to be an accomplice with your micro in all conditions through an upcoming, already in progress firmware update. We will also have a visual indicator of compliance. This is great. I'm sure they don't agree with the Capcom ruling. I don't agree with the Capcom ruling, but it is what it is. You know, you got to push an update out of your product. There's tons of people who are buying these snack boxes and they want to be able to use them legally without any chance of them getting banned. And I know some of you in the comments are probably thinking, this doesn't apply to me. I'm not a pro player. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not the other. Imagine you show up to a Capcom sanctioned event. Imagine you spend thousands of dollars to fly out to an event and a guy sits down next to you and he says, hey, hold down and up in front of this TO and your character's jumping. And now you're DQ'd. You can't even use your controller, right? It's an extreme example, but it's a realistic one. It could happen. That's why it's important that the people who make the controllers support them when things like this happen. That's also what makes this response from Hitbox Arcade just a little bit disappointing. Regarding the CPT 2023 rule set, please know that we empathize with all of these new concerns and uncertainty for our existing and new customers. This is a still developing situation, which we ensure you has our full attention. We are confident that we will be able to provide a solution to our customers that will comply with any changes to rule set. While Capcom and Street Fighter are an important part of the fighting community, they do not represent the community as a whole. The larger tournament community and its leadership have already ruled many times over that the current SOCD restrictions in our controllers are appropriate for tournament play. We stand firmly by and believe in this standard, a standard that was set more than a decade ago and that is still implemented today. Up plus down equals up. You guys have heard me praise this product over and over again in multiple videos. You know that I really believe in it. You know that I use it every day and that it is my main controller. It's the one that I always turn to and the one that I always come back to. That's all to say that I like Hitbox Arcade, but this response was not what I wanted to hear as a consumer. I just feel like it's not the hill to die on, you know? The first paragraph says, we're confident that we will be able to provide a solution to our customers that will comply with any changes to rule set, which feels like an empty promise. You know, this is a rule that just came out 3 hours ago. How can you already be so confident that you can overturn Capcom's rulings, keep your up plus down equals up, whatever mantra this is that you guys are dying on? It just feels like an empty promise. And also because the second paragraph only exists to contradict the first one. While Capcom and Street Fighter are an important part of the fighting community, they do not represent the community as a whole, which is true, but that's like what we're talking about here. You know, it's almost like they're saying if they can't come up with that solution they're so confident in, that Street Fighter doesn't really represent the whole anyways, right? And that other tournaments, larger tournament communities have already accepted their regulations, so you can still use it for that stuff. You know, it's almost like trying to soften a blow that hasn't even happened yet, especially when a competing product has already come up with like a plan of action that they've released to the public. You know, Junk Food Arcade said, this is the problem, this is a solution, we're working on it. Hitbox Arcade said, this is the problem, this would be the solution, but we're not working on it because we want up plus down to be up. We're going to die on this hill. And I just don't feel like that should be the case. half of it is probably wording, half of it is probably me reading too far into it, but I do hope that they come up with a solution. I hope they prove me wrong and shut me the fuck up, because I like the Hitbox product. I like the Hitbox Arcade product, and I want to be able to use it without having to switch my Brooks board into it. Anyways, that's all the news I got for you guys. If there's anything that I missed, leave it down in the comments below. It's still a developing situation, so I might make an update video in the future, or I'll just post on the YouTube community tab. So keep an eye out for that. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you again very soon.